YouTube, welcome your beautiful faces back to another episode on the channel. Now, this is our Road to Grandmaster series, and just to preface, I know that's not a realistic goal. We just sort of set an unfathomable task, okay, to keep ourselves entertained in chess, okay, because it can get a bit stagnant, a bit boring. So on my journey to GM, which, again, to preface, I know is not happening, but on this journey, I take you guys all the way with me. So any good games I play, I share with you guys, okay? Any tournaments that I'm going to be playing in, I will share with you guys. So definitely subscribe if you're interested in this sort of content. For today, I have 3 games that I've recently played. They're all rapid games, so a longer format on chess.com. Where I play pretty well, okay, which is quite a rarity on the channel, so I'm excited to share these games with you. Game number 1, though. We're going to jump straight into it. Like and subscribe if you do enjoy. I have the black pieces, and I'm showing the ratings of my opponent now, as per popular demand. Someone commented it down in the video, got a few thumbs up, so I thought, why not, we'll give it a go. I don't have the eval bar on, though, however, because I find it more fun to objectively look at the position, okay? I play e4. No, I don't. My opponent plays e4. I am black pieces this game, as you can see. I respond with c6. We're going for a Caro-Kann, my absolute bread and butter. d4 is played. I play d5. Now there's a few options here. They can play the exchange, the fantasy, the advanced. There's a lot of options. Opponent here just opts for this exchange variation. Very simple stuff. Now it's just a case of developing. Bishop d3 I thought looked very weird because after knight c6, I'm very clearly attacking this pawn and you have blocked your defender. So I thought it was a very interesting move. But here they just play c3. So connecting the pawns, beautiful little connect free. No danger really now. I play knight f6, opponent plays knight to f3, and then I develop my bishop, pinning the knight to the queen. This is all very normal stuff. I mean, just analysing this, anyone will know this position is completely equal. No one has blundered anything too catastrophic yet. And my opponent opts for short castling. I then just play e6, connecting the pawns in the centre of the board, opening up my dark squared bishop. h3 kicks away my light squared bishop. They then develop a knight. And then I put my bishop on d6, so outside of castling, I'm pretty much developed. I mean, it's very clear where my pieces want to be. I just need to get short castled, and then development has been completed in this exchange Caro-Kann. Opponent here now plays queen e1. Now, I thought this looked pretty strange for a number of reasons. Number one, the reason you would want to keep your queen here is so if I ever capture this knight, you can then capture back so you're not damaging your pawn structure. And some of you may say, oh, but they've got this knight defending this knight now. Which is very true, but you don't want to leave this knight here forever, because then your dark square bishop is never going to get developed. So I thought this was a little bit of a strange move, but nothing really in it. I then played bishop c7, looking to potentially get my queen on d6, setting up this beautiful battery. b3 is played. I then play queen d6 like we just discussed, maybe some mating threats at some point in this game. g3 is played. Now this just looks wrong, right? Like, it just looks wrong. This can't be a good move. This pawn has now been made infinitely weaker. This knight has also been made infinitely weaker. It just looks so wrong. The king is not looking as safe as it once was. I then play bishop to g6, just dropping back, maybe looking to trade off, because if my opponent doesn't trade with me here, this bishop is undefended, which is very important to note. Opponent lifts the queen to defend, so I then take, because I want to get short castled, so I don't want them to be able to take my bishop, now damaging my castled king. They then play knight to g5, which looks very strange. I then lash out in the centre with e5, they take, and so I recapture with the knight hitting the queen. But also, after the queen goes to d4, obviously both knights defend f3, but there might be a fork here at some stage in this game, okay? I play h6, okay, because we want to remove one defender of this f3 square, but also we do have some very cool tactics here, okay? So I take this knight, okay, full well knowing they're going to recapture with their knight. But now we have a beautiful move, bishop to b6, okay? And you have to play a move like queen f4, offering me a queen trade, or do you have queen h4 maybe? Because the idea is actually quite an intricate one. When this queen moves, I'm pinning this pawn to the king, okay? Which means that this pawn on g3 is completely hanging. So you have to move your queen to defend the g3 pawn, otherwise I'm going to take it. My opponent doesn't see this. I mean, it is quite a deep-rooted idea, and they play queen d3, which just completely blunders the game away on the spot, because I can just take on g3. And this is why you do puzzles, people, because you then see tactics like this, like 3 or 4 moves in advance, and it's just, mwah, chef's kiss. We saw this from basically when we took the knight on f3, you know, so like 3 or 4 moves ago. They play king h1. I can just take another pawn. I'm now up 2 pawns. The king is in Narnia, okay? It's so dead. They move back over. I then jump my knight into the centre, potentially looking to put my knight on g3. They drop their queen back, and then knight g3 is the crushing blow. In this position, my opponent resigned, because, well, you can play like knight h2 maybe, but then I just take on e2, and so it's like I'm winning a queen. It's over. Game is over. Game is done. Beautiful little tactic we found for game number 1, which is why I wanted to share this game with you. But for game number 2, we have the white pieces. Now, my white piece repertoire has been slowly but surely expanding. I play e4 and my opponent plays c5. Now, against the Sicilian, I normally just play like an open Sicilian, very standard stuff. But I've been learning a bit of an offbeat opening. I've been learning the Mengarini variation, okay? Now, I don't know the history behind it. Apologies. Very naive of me. Opponent here just develops their knight. And here it actually wants the move knight f3. But I've been playing this setup a lot in Bullet, where I literally just play b4. You know, I lash out with b4. The eval bar isn't the biggest fan of this move. Not that you guys can see that, but it drops like 0.2 in favour of my opponent, but it's literally nothing, okay? It's nothing. This is an option. They just play knight to f6, and then I take this pawn, okay? They then capture the pawn in the centre. I just play knight to f3. They take again, but now things get a little bit weird, okay? Because I can play d4. And I can just start kicking my opponent's knights about. So despite being down a pawn, my opponent has moved their knight, I mean, so many times out the opening. And look at the position. Like, you can't tell me this isn't better for white. Like, this is a beautiful, beautiful setup. So definitely worth learning the Mengarini if you haven't already, guys. Here I play c4 just to reinforce my central pawn. They then respond with d6. I play bishop f4, just keep developing. g6, I play a knight to c3, which is a bit of an uncomfortable move, actually. Because after they fianchetto, I kind of need to play like bishop d2 or move my rook over. I opt to just step the queen up. But I think after maybe a move like knight c5, this doesn't look overly reassuring for white. Luckily, my opponent plays the move queen a5, and then I can just drop my bishop back. And it's like, well, we're absolutely fine here now. They play knight to b4, which is a very strange looking move, because I have queen b3, and I don't know, maybe you could play like, I don't know, what knight would you move to a6? Probably this. You'd probably play like knight a6, because otherwise you're in big, big trouble, actually. And my opponent plays bishop to f5. And this is really bad, because oh, I've just skipped ahead. My bad, my bad. We're flying back through. We're flying back through. Yeah, I kick all the knights about. Blah, 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 blah. Boring, boring, boring. The reason I can't take the knight in this situation is because I just completely hang a rook. And then I have to play like knight b1 or something stupid like that. So the reason I can't take that is because I would hang a rook. But now when they move the bishop here, I don't have to take this knight with my pawn. I can take with the queen. Okay? And now we're just up a full piece. And they queen trade. So now it's just about trading everything off and converting this position. Because, yeah, we found a beautiful move that they just didn't see for some reason. Knight jumps out to develop. Bishop out. I mean, we're still just in the opening, really. We're still just developing our pieces, and I'm up a full piece. So definitely, guys, learn the Mengarini. It's so confusing. And Sicilian players, no one plays the Mengarini. No one's played against it, so definitely learn it. I mean, I have a pawn on c6 now as well, so it's like we're dangerously close to promoting. I move my rook over to get behind it. Bishop comes out. They slide their rook back over. Can you not just take... the reason I played this, because if you do take the pawn, just bishop b7, right? And I don't see a response. It actually wants... Oh my god, it wants rook c8, which just looks insane, because then I'm just going to take in the corner. You're going to have to move your rook over. It just looks ugly. So in this position, they don't take the pawn. They just scoot back over. And now I just have bishop b7. It's like, how are you going to stop this pawn from promoting? They slide their rook over. I had c7 here, but I developed my bishop first. I then take the knight because the knight was blocking a promotion square, which was a bit annoying. They recapture, jump my knight forwards. They took the bishop, which was just insanity because I just recapture, and when they slide over, I don't have rook c8, okay? Very important to note. If I play rook c8, the game's over. Or it's not over. I mean, of course it's not over. We still get into a completely winning endgame. But it's not as favourable. In this position, I needed to find this fork, which I, of course, found. My opponent played king to f8. I then took the bishop. They took the pawn. But you can't take the pawn because rook c8 is checkmate. And we found a crushing checkmate, okay? Beautiful tactics at the end here. I mean, you can't take the pawn. You have to play a move like f6, I think, probably, just to block this mating threat. Because now I go here and we trade, and then you have a square to go to. I mean, not for long, because, I mean, I could even play like rook e1, surely. But I think just, oh no, rook e1 is actually the quickest mate. Yeah, rook e1, because then you have to play like b5. And then is it, oh no, it's queen to e8, boom. Guys, crushing win in the second game. Found some beautiful tactics. Game number 3, the finale, the big one. If you've made it this far, drop a like rating, subscribe, hit that bell. You guys know the drill by now. We're playing someone from USA. If you guys watched the Ryder Cup, Europe did get the better of the USA, but I guess England aren't really in Europe anymore, are we? But that's besides the point. Or I guess the European Union. It's all too complicated for me. E4, C6, our Covenant Caro-Kann, our bread and butter, like I said at the start. And we get an exchange variation again. So no one really opting for the fantasy or the advance. The fantasy is such a tricky opening. Like, I think Gotham Chess once made a video about it, and he said, like, if you're like 2000 elo, go play this at your local chess club. No one's going to beat you. Like, the fantasy is such a nuanced opening. It's so annoying to play against. Knight f3, bishop to g4, pinning the knight. So very similar to our first game, actually, except they block the pin this time. I then play knight to f6. Knight goes to e5, and I take the bishop, okay? Queen recaptures. I just develop my other knight. They develop their bishop, and then I play the move e6, opening up my dark squared bishop. They short castle, and then I play bishop to d6, which, I don't know, it doesn't look the prettiest, does it? Wait, you can take on f7? Wow. That's beautiful. I didn't see that. I didn't see taking on f7. That's beautiful. Luckily, my opponent here plays f3. Which is a real bad move because apparently of queen b6, which I don't really think I found, but it makes a lot of sense. I think I find queen b6 later on in the game, actually. I think I find queen b6 later, because the reason this is so crushing is you threaten this check, but also to take this poisoned pawn on b2. I don't find it, I just short castle. Opponent plays knight to d3, so I take the bishop, they recapture. And then I bring my rook over to e8, maybe preparing at some stage to play e5. They drop their knight back, and then I play queen to c7. Now, why didn't I just play queen b6? It's one more square, and it's a much better move. That's really annoying. That's really annoying. Okay, I then bring my other rook over to the centre, rook f to e1, and then I finally, after weeks, find queen b6. I mean, this is quite bad. This is what will take my chess to the next level, is finding these slightly nuanced, better positional moves, I guess you would call it. My positional play isn't the best. They play knight e5, so I just take with check. Though I think it actually wants me... Oh my god, wait. Takes, and then queen takes, and then queen b2. Yeah, it wants this line, but I just take this with check. And then I take, queen takes, and I wanted to keep queens on the board. I don't know if this was the best move. What is the best move? It wants me to trade... I mean, it's actually the exact same whether I trade queens or play queen b6, so it doesn't actually matter. They then defend the b2 pawn with a rook. I then push, attacking the knight. Knight, of course, has to move. And then my rook comes over to attack the queen on e5. Queen steps back. I then play a rook to c8, just attacking everything I can, bringing all my pieces into the game. They attack my rook, so I drop back. It's like my rooks have just swapped places. And then this just looks insane. There is an insane tactic coming up at the end of this game, guys. Rook goes to c7, knight d3, rook to c8, queen drops back. So this c2 pawn, very well defended. And I play the move queen a6. So there's a couple ideas here. I'm threatening to take this pawn, but I'm also threatening just to take this knight and get the game down to a winning endgame, which looks insane, but I will show you guys the line later on. They play knight to b4, so I slide forwards attacking the knight. They then play a3, I play a5, so the knight has to now go back. And now they've played knight d3. I play queen takes on d3. I mean, what a gangster move, just completely sacrificing my queen. Because I'm going to win it back. I mean, currently speaking, I'm up 1 pawn, okay? But at the end of this exchange, I'm going to be up a knight. Because after I take, they recapture, of course they do. They have to recapture. Then I take the rook. Rook recaptures, and then I take the rook again. And they have to give up their queen, otherwise it's mate. So they play queen g1. I take, king recaptures, and the sole survivor of that exchange is the knight on f6. This is why I want to show you this game, okay? Because it highlights a big error of mine, which is my positional play. And also, I found a gangster tactic. I mean, I was so happy with that. That was beautiful stuff. Knight f6 is absolutely gorgeous. Knight f6... I meant queen takes on d3. It's because my knight is on f6. So I just moved my knight into the centre. And now it's just a case of, let's just push our pawns. Like, I'm going to go promote, and I have a knight to back it up. h3, I play h5. They slide their king over, so I play g4. And guys, let's say hypothetically the kings were on the other side of the board and it was just this 3-on-3. You can actually win this if you're the first person to move, because after they take, you actually just push. Because now if they take, I would then just run this one home. This is if the kings weren't here. Obviously it's a bit different. And let's say they took with this pawn. I then push here, because then if you take, I push this one. Obviously the kings are here blocking it. But that is how you win a 3-on-3 pawn sort of battle. My opponent takes the g pawn with their h3 pawn. So I just push my f pawn, okay? I just play f4. And then when they take, I take again. And basically speaking, they're going to run forwards, but now I have the beautiful knight f4, okay? And this blocks all of these squares, so the king is never getting close to this pawn. And now my king can just sort of march forwards, march up the board, and we're going to promote to a queen. So after the move knight f4, my opponent plays h6. After king h7, though, my opponent does resign. Because, like, let's say we played on. I mean, what can you even play here? You go like b3, I just take. If you go here, takes. And then I'm just going to start pushing. And there's really, like, nothing you can do. There is literally nothing you can do in this position. I mean, what does it want? It wants king to e1. Like, now you can't even get here. If you go here, I just move up. You know, like, there's nothing you can do. King e1, I make a queen. You step forwards, like over here. I mean, where's the mate? Let's just find the mate. I mean, we've made it this far. You go over here. Do I then go here? I guess king b1 is just mate on the spot. So let's say you go this way. Queen b2 forces you to move a pawn. Oh my god. You'd have to play, like, I don't even know, like f4? And then knight takes. Oh my god. Because you have to then go king e1. Oh my god, that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. But guys, if you did enjoy these free games, please, please, please smash that like button. If you thought this was an absolutely wonderful move, subscribe. And comment down below your elo and what your chess goals are. I will be interacting with every single one of you. I love you guys very dearly. Get out of here.